Good morning, CLC. In this moment and at this time, I invite you to join me in entering the great wave that is the divine. If you feel so inclined, go ahead and take a nice deep cleansing breath in, breathing in love, light, and energy. And as you release the breath, release all that no longer serves you. Allow any doubts or stress or tension of past or future events to just be washed away for now. Go ahead and take another nice deep cleansing breath in, and as you release this breath, allow your body to relax in this moment. Unclenching jaws, letting shoulders just relax. Allowing your body the respite it needs in this moment, and allowing your mind to be here now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself up to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging this higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of this infinite presence, I simply speak these words: I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all of my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, loving, beautiful, positive, constructive. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one very special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. Visualizing that idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words. I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in this room or even on this planet anymore. I turn to that image in my mind's eye and say, I'm grateful for the good in your life. Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in this room or virtually on this broadcast, and share in confidence and gratitude and saying, I'm grateful for the good in your lives.
Loves Me Like a Rock. I got here, the musicians are practicing, and I said, when are you doing Loves Me Like a Rock? And they said, after the talk. And I said, oh, no, 20 minutes of the talk has to do with that song. And they said, a talk shorter by 20 minutes is not a bad thing. Wow. No, they didn't really say that. They didn't really say that. I'm making that part up. I wish you a happy Mother's Day. And to all the moms and to everybody who had a mom, to the metaphysical concepts of motherhood, which is what I'm going to delve into a little bit here this morning. But Loves Me Like a Rock, when the musicians said earlier this week they were going to do that song, I thought, that always reminds me of the Pet Rock. Because the Pet Rock came out about the same time as that song did, you remember? Did you have one if you were of a certain generation? No. You were too smart for that, weren't you? I'm not buying in. Brilliant marketing campaign. You know what the Pet Rock was, right? It was a rock about, well, this size of a potato, basically, and it came in a little cardboard carrier, and it had like wood shavings that it nestled in, you know, and air holes actually in the little cardboard container. And the pitch, and I think it sold for like $2 or something in 1978 money. But the pitch was, you don't have to walk it, you don't have to feed it, you don't have to take it to the vet, you don't have to basically do anything with this. It will stay there, and it will love you like a rock. It will love you the way only a rock can, unconditionally and unchangingly. It will stay where you put it. It won't go anywhere. And now I don't think that's why people bought them. They thought it was funny, and mostly you got them to gift them to somebody else, and so they became like the Christmas fruitcake, you know, that gets passed from hand to hand until you can use it as a doorstop. But we get the idea sometimes that the people who love us and the way they love us cannot change, or we're lost. Your mom, when she had you, was a young woman. Your mom, when she had you, had a lot of growing in front of her to do, and she changed a great deal. And you were really important to her. You were important to her if you had many, many siblings. You were important to her if you were an only child. You were very important to her, but you weren't the only thing in her life. You weren't the only thing in her life when you were a baby. You're not the only thing in her life now, today, if she's still on the planet with you. She had a life independent of yours. She gave you mothering energy. She did what she did, and you received that, and that's great. But the idea is to not let it stop there. It's to pass it on. You know, we talk about giving our mothers gifts on Mother's Day, and that's a wonderful thing to do. But an even better thing to do is give the world the gift of you and your mothering energy on Mother's Day and every day. And you have mothering energy irrespective of gender. We make way too much of a deal about gender and the appropriate roles for specific gender in this world, okay? You have all manner of energies available to give. What is a mother's energy? What does a mother's love look like? Well, it's complicated, and it varies from mother to mother and family to family, but a certain subset of it as well. It's unconditional. It's unconditional. It's not strictly unconditional, because if your mother loves you as her child, that's a condition. You're her child. You're not somebody else's child. You're not a stranger on the street, okay? She loves you because you are of her. You carry her blood in your veins. You carry her DNA in your interior, you know. But she loves you unconditionally, behaviorally. If you're a bad kid, I was a bad kid. Okay? If you're a bad kid, if you misbehave, if you're disobedient, she's sad about it. She's maybe mad at you. She goes through a whole range of feelings, but she still loves you. She never withdraws that. She loves you even when you make foolish choices, or even smart choices that don't dovetail with her choices for you. My mother wanted me to go to law school. That didn't happen. She didn't say, well, you're a failure in my eyes, but she never did understand why I do what I do completely. And that was okay. We understood, we had that understanding between us, because there were ways that she was, that I didn't, she's been gone 30 years, but the ways that she was in the world that I didn't understand. Well, guess what? That's part of the game of being human, is we get to try to figure out the motivations and intentions of other people through the lens of our own. But what she did do is she loved me and let me know that I was a place where I could go and get positive encouragement whenever I felt I needed it, regardless of what else was going on. Now, is every mother like that? No. And I'm aware that when it's Mother's Day, Father's Day, any kind of day that celebrates any particular subset of the population, that we're talking in generalities. Not all mothers are cut out to be mothers. Some of them are simply women who become pregnant, who give birth to a child, and they don't know what to do. And that's not a crime. It's a shame. It's a shame if people don't have the mothering skills. And what it means is they don't have anywhere that they know to look to get those skills. They weren't gifted with those skills by, I suppose, their mother or their culture at the time or something. And that's where you and I come in, is because we can go up to each other and offer unconditional support. And that's one of the things that I love about this teaching, is that that's what we do, is we give unconditional support to each other, don't we? And I mean, sometimes we may forget or kind of seize up in the moment, but mostly it's like, yeah, sure. And so somebody comes and they say, well, I have this big plan for my life. What do you think? We're like, you can do that. I believe in you. I may not understand your plan. It may not be anything I'm interested in doing, but I believe that you can do it. We don't pathologize the human experience. We don't say, well, you're born in sin and you're a miserable creature until you find the right religion, worship the right description of deity, and, you know, then maybe you get a foot in the door of eternal life. No, we say that life is original blessing, that you're born in joy, that you're this beauteous being, this expression of spirit, this life that spirit is having of itself by means of you in this world at this time. And go forward with that into however you wish to express. And if how you wish to express, or how you find yourself expressing is foolish, you'll learn from that. Or you know what? Or you won't. And you'll keep doing it over and over and over. And people will say, oh, that's so sad. Look at this person. They keep making these foolish choices. But that'll be your life then, until you decide otherwise. Until you decide otherwise, that you want to do something different. In other words, all there really is, and we go back to basic science mind with this, all there is cause and effect. You know, Ernest says that in life there are no rewards and punishments. There are just what? Consequences. There are just consequences. Rewards and punishments suggest the existence of an external deity circling around us like a satellite, off which our choices bounce, and then return to us, loaded with gifts of reward or, I suppose, beatings of punishment or something. But no, what happens is we get consequences. And we look at these things and we say, well, that didn't work out. Remember Dr. Phil on TV? I don't know if he's still doing this, but he used to say to people, how's that working for you? They say, well, I've been doing the same thing over and over with negative results. And you say, well, how's that working for you? He's being sarcastic, but it got their attention, didn't it? And they're like, oh, it's not working at all. Sometimes what you want to have in your life is stuff that doesn't work, so that you have an unworkable thing that you can continue to return to like a hobby. A stamp collector has never collected their last stamp. Right? There's always a stamp. I don't know about stamp collecting, but there's always a stamp out there somewhere that you want that somebody else has or nobody's ever seen, but it's rumored to exist, And so there's a work in progress. We are sometimes like that. We keep our woundedness as something to come home to and pick up where we left off, like, I don't know, knitting. It's just a thing that we do. But for the most part, then you learn you don't have to do that. You can work on your wellness. You can work on supporting the world's wellness through the fullness of who you are and reach out to others. So the pet rock sat on my desk at the little office that I had in 1978 before I was doing this. Not long before, but before. And I sat there and I looked at this little thing, and it was very Zen-like. I had an experience with a rock in a workshop later. I'll tell you that. I've told you that story before. I'll tell you some other time. But, about being with a rock. And to just notice the complacency of this thing and the stillness of it and the peace of it. And I decided that my rock was happy. I decided that my rock enjoyed being a rock. It didn't want to be something else. We're always busy talking about evolution. And a rock doesn't want to be a rock. It wants to be a tree or a bird or you. And it's working on evolving toward that. Well, sometimes we don't just let things be what they are. We don't appreciate them for the value that they have. Rock is very valuable in this world. Much of the world is actually built on rock. We have skyscrapers and stuff because underneath there's rock. And if that rock decided to get up and fly away, we'd have to do things a lot differently. So we let things be what they are when they don't change. But of course, rocks do change, because the pet rock that I had, I don't know where it is now, but eventually it will go to dust. It'll take a real long time. It's not there yet, I'm sure, but it will eventually decay, decompose back into the pure potential from which it came. Happily for you, me, and it, there is a changeless presence at the center of everything. It does not change. There is one thing that does not change. In all of creation, there is one thing that does not change. We got lots of names for it, but you know what I'm talking about. The source, the deity, the spirit of creation, that which is, the ultimate ground of all being. It does not change, but it contains all possibility of change within it. That's the thing that we go to be reminded that we're okay, when no human agency will suffice. You go to your mom and you say, tell me I'm all right, and she's having a bad day. She's got a migraine or something, and she doesn't know how to say that to you. She says, go away and don't bother me right now, kid. And you feel all set. Where can you go? Where can you go? And this is why it's wonderful to teach our children about this presence. Rather than God wants something from you and it wants you to grow up and be successful and make lots of money and tithe to your church. No, nonsense. Instead, what God wants from you is to be fully okay within yourself, to know that you're loved. Because when you know that you're loved, you'll have enough courage to do what needs to be done. You'll have enough resilience to overcome whatever life brings you. So we go to this changeless thing that's the ultimate matriarch, the divine matriarch, out of which we all issue. And this matriarch is, well, it's the arch mother. That's literally what matriarch means, like patriarch is the arch father. What does arch mean? Well, I looked it up. It's from the Greek, and it's sometimes pronounced arch, but it means the greatest of something. The greatest of something. Or superior in rank to, like an archbishop outranks a bishop. There's a lot of pageantry last week, and congratulations to Pope Leo. And sometimes what it means is the first in line of something, like archangels. In Christian theology, there are three archangels, three principal archangels, from whom all the other angels are descended. Well, if those angels are descended from those archangels, then those angels carry within themselves the same spiritual DNA, celestial DNA, as the archangels. And you and I are a little lower than the angels. So you've got archangels and then angels, and then somewhere along the lines you've got humans. And this is, scriptural stuff, just in that particular tradition. Well, it's not a bad metaphor to look at. We have within us the essence of the angels. We have within us the essence of the archangels. We have, of course, within us the essence of the spiritual reality, the deity, the one life from which all of this issues. It's not separate from us. It doesn't exist on some separate plane. Heaven is not a destination that's somewhere out beyond the clouds. It's not even another dimension of time. All things are layered on top of each other and within each other, and they interpenetrate one another. And that's the reality of this. And so it's not a big claim. It's not an outrageous stand to take when we say, there is one life, and that life is God, and that life is all the life there is. Therefore, that life is the life that I'm having right now. And that life contains all life. That life contains all life. All life everywhere, without exception. I got a question the other day. I write a magazine column, deal with questions about the teaching, and I got a question the other day. I said, what would Ernest Holmes think about all these different kind of people in the world today? These people, trans people and gay people and all of these that weren't here before. That weren't. And what would he think about all this? I said, well, let's find out, shall we? So I thought, let's approach this emotionally, and let's approach this logically, and then I have to approach it in 330 words. So that's what I get per question. So a lot of editing goes on. I haven't published it yet. It's coming out in a month, probably 3 months, is the time lag. So, well, emotionally, Ernest Holmes was kind. We know this from the people who knew him. And by the way, off subject, I was with somebody 2 weekends ago who knew him into her 20s. She was his neighbor. Her father was his colleague, Reginald Armour. She knew him. And so if you want to know what he was like, this was as he was into his 70s and she was 20 or so. But, you ask her what. So was this guy, and she gets this all the time. Was this guy really all he was cracked up to be? Or did he just have this public face of kindness and goodness and acceptance? She said, no, he was the real deal. I mean, he had his mood swings, all of us do, but he was kind, and he was generous, and he was loving, and he believed that all people belonged. He absolutely believed inclusivity, and he practiced it. He practiced it in his centers. They were called churches at the time. He practiced it in his lectures. He did it in every way possible way that he could. So that's the emotional side or the sympathetic side. So then let's look at the logical side of this. There's a logical axiom in philosophy, and it goes something like, if somebody makes a statement without exception, you must extrapolate that statement also without exception. So if I say to you, all people are one, and I don't hasten to add, except these people, don't put an asterisk on it. All people are one. But I don't specify either that by all people I do mean these people and these people and these people, and pages and pages of lists of people. I just leave it at that. All people are one. You must extrapolate that I mean what I say. Now, when Ernest Holmes says that all people are one, does it necessarily mean that all people really are one? Well, not because he says it. Because who is he to describe all of creation? But I believe him believing that, and I believe that, so I stand next to him as he's believing it. You see what I'm saying? And so I agree with that. I've come to that conclusion on my own because I've been around the earth a while and I've seen lots of different kinds of people. And I have to be aware, too, that kinds of people don't equal individual people. Because kinds of people are categories and so on, and everybody's unique. That's why we're here. If we weren't unique, we wouldn't be needed, we wouldn't be here. So everybody is this standalone creation of spirit. But I experience all of these people, and I think, I haven't met one yet that wasn't part of spirit, that wasn't, in fact, fully spirit expressing as they are. What I have met are plenty of people, including my own self when I look in the mirror from time to time, who forgets that they're one. Or in certain cases, certain sad cases that we're here to heal, people who've never heard it, who've never heard they're okay. And I told you last week, quoted Holmes, where he said people are dying for someone to tell them they're all right. There are a lot of people on this planet that for one reason or another have thought they were born behind the 8 ball and they don't fit in and they don't belong and there's no future for them and they feel hopeless and hapless and it's sad. And our job is to what? Mother them in the most constructive possible way. Now, I could go on and on about mothers, and I won't, but here's the thing. See, what a mother won't do, what a healthy mother won't do is take your choices away, get between you and your choices, be all codependent and weird about how you are and fight all your battles for you. She will when you're little, and sometimes to an embarrassing extent when you're a little bit older, and you'll get I got a bad grade, and it's a long story, but my mother marched herself down to the school and had it out with the headmistress of the school I attended because of something that happened that was unfair. And it was unfair. It wasn't me. I did plenty of stupid things, but this wasn't one of them. And, and I was mortified. I was like 10, and I was mortified. Mom, God, weren't you mortified at your mom? Mom, could you drop me off a few blocks from the school so the other kids don't, right? That kind of thing. Mom, do I have to wear this? So, yeah, there are times that she'll embarrass you and times that she'll overstretch and all of that. But a healthy mom knows you got to stand up for yourself. What is that song that you and Theo have done here before about you've got to learn to stand up because I won't always be around.
It's actually
Winter.
It's about her and her dad.
Her and her dad, yeah. Tori Amos, right?
Yeah, it could be a mother.
Yeah, it's her and her dad. Yeah, so it's her parent. And he says you got to learn to stand up for yourself. And it doesn't describe exactly what took place, but because I won't always be around. And even if they are always around, we've got to learn to stand up for ourselves. We've got to come into full possession of our faculties, So spirit is the same way. When you go to the matriarchal aspect of spirit, it's not going to do it for you. It's not going to do it for you. It'll give you the tools. It won't even give you the tools. It'll show you where the tools are. Okay? It'll give you the catalog where you can order the tools. It'll give you the website. Okay? And it'll say, great. If you ask him for bread, will he give you a stone? No, but he won't give you bread either. He'll give you a recipe. And some ingredient. Now you'll need some flour and some butter and this. And then, you'll make your own bread. Or you won't. Or you'll stand there with all the ingredients laid out before you and you'll say, life is so unfair. I wanted bread and I got this. And I just don't want to take the time. And then that's another level of choice too. Sometimes we walk right up to the threshold of what it is we say we want, and we back away from it. And there's nothing pathological about that. It's just then another time, and another time, and another time. And one last thing is that we never run out of time. It just looks like we do. When I mentioned that my mother left the world 30 years ago, it looked like an ending at the time. It was hard for me because she went young and early, and I was out of town, and she got sick and went in the hospital, and then things went from bad to worse, and I hastened back to town, and it was some of you. I don't think any of you in the room were in my life at that time, but it was rough, and it shook my faith like all death does. It's like, where did she go? We just had a memorial service last week of a guy that sat right there for years and years, and he's gone now. Well, where did he go? Well, he didn't end. She didn't end. Your people didn't end. They have not ended. They're living full lives in some way, in some form or fashion, and you can still talk to them, and you can still hear from them. But you know what? There's something even better than that. You can listen to what they listen to. You can listen to this divine source telling you, as it has told all beings through all time who would listen, come unto me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I and I alone can do this, because I am that reality that fashions all creation. So I wish you a happy Mother's Day. Like I say every year, call your mother. You should call your mother. Right now, call your mother. If she's still on the planet, call your mother. If she's not on the planet, call her anyway. Call her anyway. You won't need to look a number up. Just turn to her. Let's do that together. Let's know together now, one life, one presence, one power. And Mom, I hear you. There you are. And here I am. And I hope you're proud. I hope you're happy for me. But more than that, I hope you're happy for you. Whatever it is you're up to now. And I thank you for the life that you gave me, the attention that you paid me, the sacrifices that you made for me. I am in awe of how you grew as a result of the experience of having me in your life. All the things you learned about yourself as you moved through your years. And I'm grateful to the life that gave you to me. The generations of ancestors before you, and the dawn of life before that, out of which everyone has issued. I'm grateful for this endless procession of life through the human dimension on the earth plane. And I'm grateful for that celestial home in which we all live, here and hereafter, in which we're okay, we're lovable and loving, and all is well. And I affirm and know that for all beings everywhere, a new day is dawning, a new hope is birthing. And for this knowing and its manifestation in form everywhere we turn, being so deeply grateful, I release this word now into that one life that I know as my Mother, Father, God. And let it be so, and so it is.
I got it.
You got it?
Don't touch it.
Mike's not here. Sorry about it. I guess on a more serious note, I don't know about you, but it kind of takes me back to my mother. She would have been so proud now because she was a super Catholic, so the election of a new pope would have been a really big deal to her. And I think the highlights of her life was when she and I visited the Vatican years ago. But when Reverend Jesse said extrapolate, you won't believe what came in my mind. I had this picture in my mind of this ferocious nun with a leather strap in her hand ready to teach us how life ought to be. So they were called the Sisters of No Compassion. It's really tempting to touch this thing because it's kind of... I know, but it's kind of... Never mind, Mel. Well, I guess I should... That was a beautiful song, by the way. Mel, Brian, Natalie, and Jeffrey, thank you. Yeah, we don't congratulate and applaud enough. Well, I guess we do here, right? Yeah. And we speak back from the front row. Okay, and as you get your gift in your hand, please say with me, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is. Once again. As we prepare to close, I wanted to mention one thing. I want to offer great congratulations and great love from this spiritual center to Thomas Chelena and Daniel Malachowski, who celebrated 50 years together last weekend.
I was listening early on in what Reverend Jesse said, and I bought a pin yesterday because I was at Renaissance Festival yesterday, because that's what we do. And it said, I never lose. I either learn something, I either win or I learn something. So please take that as the gift that it is. You don't ever have to lose. You learn something and move on. So in that space, and in that beautiful space of that mothering energy, I invite you to enter into that divine with me, into that divine mother. If your mother is on the planet, if your mother is off the planet, if you have an interesting relationship with your mother, if you have a wonderful relationship with your mother, step with me consciously into the sacred and know that there is one life. There is one presence. There is one power. There is one love. And today, we look at that love from the mothering side, the unconditional love, the sacrifices that mothering energy can make, that sacrificing energy that mothering energy chooses to make. And we hold that space, knowing that we are each that divine mother. And we never know when we are going to be called on to be that mothering energy. But when we are called on, we are plugged into that divine mother. And we allow it to flow through us effortlessly, beautifully. Especially when we are called upon to mother ourselves. That energy is an eternally inexhaustible wellspring that is available all of the time. And we always have it available. And I know this. And I am grateful to the teaching that teaches me this. And I am grateful for that mothering energy in whatever form it shows up. So I am grateful for the teaching that teaches me who I am. I am grateful that teaches the community that comes together to remind each other of this truth. I am grateful for our musicians. I am grateful for our practitioners. I am grateful for our ministers. I am grateful for each and every one of you. I am grateful for Ernest for being the kind, compassionate, and inclusive person that he was, that he stands as that example for us. And I'm grateful because it's another word for love. And I release my word with that love into law, knowing that it is done. And so it is.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my mind. I feel it in everything I am. I choose it. I trust it. I use it. And I love it. So it is.